All right. Welcome back to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Just kind of reflect on what we talked about real quick. We talked about our Monday Night Raw review. We also talked about our WWE NXT preview. And we're going to move on to our third segment. We're going to talk about how AEW is future. It's looking pretty bright. But before we move on, I want to remind you guys to use the tips and donations link at the GSMCpodcast.net to give me, some of the chats. Give me some of your guys' spicy takes. I absolutely love, talking with you guys, about stuff like this. So let's talk about AEW. Future is absolutely looking better. And I agree 110%. But yeah, let's go ahead and dig right on into it. So, like I said before, AEW's future is definitely better than ever. I can't wait to kind of see this, story kind of develop. I can't wait to see what Tony Khan continues to do with AEW. So let's just kind of, so AEW's Double or Nothing that happened May 26th on Sunday was absolutely, it was a banger. It was absolutely awesome. It was even, there was actually speculation that in terms of ratings for a little bit there, and I don't think in totality, this didn't really like kind of come to surface that Double or Nothing did better than King and Queen of the Ring in terms of ratings. And if it's true or if it's not true, I think this is pretty big for AEW. Just the fact that you're kind of being compared to a WWE event that was taking place in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. At this point, like, cool. Like, so you got to take the W's when they come and, take the L's when they're L's. But I think this is great. I think this is great for AEW. 1,010%. If if the ratings were, favored your way, I watched both pay-per-views. I really honestly did. Love WWE. I am primarily a WWE fan, but I liked AEW Double or Nothing way better than WWE King and Queen of the Ring. There, I said it. No, but I liked it better than Backlash. I did in France. I honestly did. I liked it better than a other bunch of WWE pay-per-views that I've, seen so far. And I'm not trying to dog on WWE or trying to throw shade or anything like that. But, obviously WrestleMania is always great. But I think for the longest time, WWE didn't really realize they had competition until, recently with AEW. I watched Dynasty and it was great. I watched, it was pretty good. I watched Double or Nothing from the beginning to the end, ordered it on pay-per-view. Money well spent, by the way. It was amazing. And WWE, I feel like they kind of got used to, not having a show to kind of compete against. So they would kind of put on not mediocre, premium live events. I'm not trying to say that, so to speak, but I would feel like they didn't really have the urgency to kind of put on matches. And because you would always see like maybe 6 matches tops on match cards. Why? Why does that happen? Why, sometimes you don't see the Intercontinental Championships fought. Sometimes you don't see both tag team titles being fought. Why not? Why the hell are you trying to hold this from the WWE universe or professional wrestling fans all over the world? I don't understand that. So far in every single AEW pay-per-view, you've had every single title being contested. Absolutely 110%. That's what wrestling fans really want to see. They don't want to, see like, oh, okay, like we don't get to see the Kabuki Warriors fight for the WWE tag team titles, but we'll cut a good promo. We'll cut a good promo. That's good enough. That'll, we'll just give the fans a taste. Yeah, we'll just here, there. We'll throw out charity. You get a taste. You get it, and that's BS. That's stupid. I don't know why WWE would do that with AEW. Absolutely, like chomping at the bits, and they're going to be amazing. It's looking pretty bright. The ratings for Double or Nothing are better or in the same boat as WWE King and Queen of the Ring, which doesn't really surprise me. I think AEW does have a lot of talented wrestlers. You kind of, obviously the main card in terms of WWE is a little higher, and that's still kind of pushing it. That's pushing it 110%. But the mid card for AEW, oh my God, people fighting for the TNT Championship are they're great superstars. Absolutely. Like WWE doesn't really. I love the Intercontinental Championship division, and the Intercontinental Championship division in WWE is kind of like, for mid carders, top carders kind of, dabbling in here and there with the mid carders, but it's mostly a mid card, kind of title. And comparing the superstars from the mid cards from AEW and WWE, it's no match. It's no match at all. AEW definitely topples over WWE in terms of that because these wrestlers are so good. And it's not because they're just so good because, they were bought by Tony Khan. Yes, they were offered a pretty handsomely contract, you know what I mean? But you pay for talent. You pay for people who can cut a promo. You pay for people who can, dictate a match, because a match is essentially an art form. An art form. It's a film. It's an entertainment. Wrestling is part of the entertainment industry. So the AEW does they do such an amazing job. WWE, obviously they're good, but like I said, and the point that I kind of mentioned before is maybe WWE kind of got used to the aspect, kind of got used to they kind of, sat in their seat and they got a little comfortable. They're like, okay, we don't have to put on amazing, pay-per-views and stuff like that. Like that's cool and all, but because who the hell is going to track us down? AEW is currently stealing ratings. I feel like they've done really, really well. Did they steal your boy E from the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast? Am I a full AEW fan? I am 1,010%, especially after AEW Double or Nothing. And, I'm going to start watching Collision now. I'm going to start watching Rampage. I'm going to, I watched Dynamite. Love Dynamite. I always loved it. But it's going to be so great. It's going to be so great. Next, we have, we saw MJF reignite the AEW universe and the locker room. MJF, the moment I heard his music, the moment he came out to confront Adam Cole, I knew I was like, oh, this is going to go down tonight. And it did. MJF came out. He said what he said. He even brought up, something about New Japan or a Vince McMahon. Like, he's just like, MJF is definitely one of the best wrestling personas of all time. Kind of reminds me of like a modern day kind of CM Punk, but I don't know. He's just so passionate. He's just so passionate. The moment he started speaking, I was looking at the screen. I was mesmerized. I feel like I was watching somebody preach to me. And I was like, dude, yeah, you're right, and stuff like that. So MJF returning to AEW is huge. Absolutely great for the brand. Can't wait to see that, kind of unfold. And I watched the press conference after AEW's Double or Nothing. And something that I kind of have to give credit to, and something that wrestling fans should honestly kind of realize, that Tony Khan is a way better boss than Vince McMahon ever was. He's, if it's better boss than Eric Bischoff, but I don't know if better than Paul Levesque, because Paul Levesque, looks like he's back there talking to superstars, talking to creatives, and I would say Paul Levesque, at the respect that he has, I feel like he's kind of met his match with Tony Khan. Tony Khan, I've kind of noticed this. I've watched it within the superstars. They actually like their boss. He goes, and that's part of the problem why everything kind of went down between Jack Perry and CM Punk. Why they lost CM Punk was because Tony Khan was, he's kind of afraid of confrontation. He kind of wants everybody to kind of focus on the main goal, which is to put on a good wrestling match for the fans. Like, obviously you do it for the ratings. Obviously you do it for the merchandise and the ticket sales. But overall, you wrestle for the fans. And Tony Khan knows this. And you saw him in all the press conferences with everybody, which I think WWE should definitely, adopt. Nice little press conference, kind of have all the winners and the champions like talking their mess and stuff like that. Creating promos for the next night. WWE could do it on Sundays for Monday Night Raw, but you just have people, they admire Tony Khan. They respect him. The superstars really generally know that they are under this tutelage, under this, King Tony Khan, and they know that they're going toward a bright space. He wouldn't ask his superstars really to do anything that's kind of beyond them. So got to respect Tony Khan in that matter. And next, we have Tony Khan merging Ring of Honor and New Japan Professional Wrestling, which is absolutely great for all three brands. A lot of people think about, okay, so you're going to start stealing superstars and stuff like that? No, definitely not. Like, Cody Rhodes and the Young Bucks were, stolen from Ring of Honor, but Tony Khan ultimately vowed to when he absorbed Ring of Honor and New Japan Professional Wrestling, is to kind of revive it. If he's no Vince McMahon, and kind of like what Vince did with WCW and ECW, is you want these wrestling promotions to realize that you're the man, you're the crap, you're the boss. WWE towers over you, and I want to show you that. And that's something that Tony Khan's not all about. Like, obviously he did take Cody Rhodes and Young Bucks, but he didn't just let that he didn't let the TV program or the wrestling promotion kind of go, under, kind of be hiatus. They outbid WWE for the purchase of Ring of Honor in terms of their video library, which is great because I feel like if WWE would have took it, it kind of would have been just like not really as advertised or not really like a huge bang, like as if Tony Khan was going to do it. So I definitely love that Tony Khan is the new head of Ring of Honor, New Japan Professional Wrestling. Sometimes they have certain deals with TNA Wrestling that it's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time. And Tony Khan is not taking advantage of these promos. No, 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 he's not. He's doing his best to reignite them. He's doing his best to kind of, split superstars. You have a lot of talent on the AEW roster that would do wonders, that would do absolute wonders in New Japan Professional Wrestling and Ring of Honor. So, definitely got to respect Tony Khan, throw some respect toward that. And also, he's had the HBO streaming services coming up. And now they have the video library of Ring of Honor. They had a video library of New Japan Professional Wrestling, and they're going to have the video library of AEW. So happening on Max, you have the streaming services. Now you have the TV programs. AEW is definitely looking hot. They're definitely looking toward the future, and it's amazing. And they are a global wrestling conglomerate. They're the all-star wrestling company. You have 3 companies. TNA is probably the next to follow. I don't know how much they would dig into the National Wrestling Alliance, but I think honestly, if you can get them at a good cheap price, it would be awesome to kind of keep these. You have the All Star of wrestling happening under the man, the myth, the legend, the new up and comer that has nothing but respect for the fans, the wrestling superstars, and ultimately the promotions that he's representing is Tony Khan. So a lot of good things happening for Tony Khan. Definitely love that. Proud of him. I'm just infatuated with where AEW is going to kind of wind up within the next couple of years. All right, so we have Becky Lynch's expiring contract we're going to talk about. We're going to dive in deep. We're going to find out what exactly Becky Lynch wants to do. There was a lot of speculations about her maybe possibly going to AEW, and we'll all address it as soon as we come back. So, hey, don't go anywhere.